Welcome everyone to a Delco Nerd Network hot take. If you've never seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement. We like to give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a game, and that game is Split Fiction. My name is Anthony Ragucci, and here to discuss with me, as always, splitting the review with me, the triple threat, Chris Trio.
I was gonna say, Gooch, how are you? First off, second off, yeah, we're co-oping this review, I guess. So it seems very.
I guess we co-op most reviews.
Yeah, that's true.
There's never been a solo review.
There
on
has
DNN.
not. No, and I don't know where that would.
Funny enough, I'll tell you, I'm doing it in a sec. But I've always thought, I'm like, what if I had to like do a review alone or something like that? I'm like, that would be so strange.
It's like Tim Dillon doing his podcast by himself. Like
you're
I couldn't
just
even
kind of
imagine.
rambling.
Yeah, you'd have to just
Because like you don't have anyone to like
bounce off of. Yeah,
Yeah.
the only thing we come close to doing that with is when it's just like one of us sits on with another who's played the game.
Yeah, but it's
not the same because you can
Yeah.
still bounce something off each other. Yeah, that's interesting. But
yeah,
Gooch,
man, I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah,
First
that's
podcast of the 30s.
happy belated. Yes,
Thank
I was
you.
gonna say.
Yeah,
We just
it's
had
been,
we had the party on Friday.
Yeah, we should definitely talk about that in our monthly. Which
Absolutely.
will
We
be
definitely will.
We'll be coming up soon. But yeah, celebrate the 30th birthday this weekend. I felt 30 yesterday morning, for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, 30's going pretty well.
A good start,
so
you
far.
can say. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I was kind of scared of my 30s. I feel like a year or two, and like within the last few months. But like now that we're here, I'm just like I'm a bit
You're
more
like, oh,
like
it's another year.
embracing it.
There you go. That's all you can do.
Yeah, but like moving into your you're at 30.
Oh,
now.
dude, absolutely. I mean, it's
You know?
another decade of your
20s
life.
is kind of like
You're still
it
young.
doesn't hit the same.
No,
Right?
it
Like
doesn't
you're
at all.
young, and then you turn 21. Now you can drink. Like there's a few like milestones in your 20s. I feel like once you hit your 30s, it's like
I feel like everything just like post 22 to like maybe even 25, like everything just accelerates. Like I feel like it's just Christmas again every year all of a sudden. That's just how it goes. It's like, oh, it's Christmas. Oh, it's Christmas. Like even April, we're already through it. We're going to be in May here in a week. Less than a week. And it's kind of frightening. So, you know what? Quick PSA. Enjoy your 20s if you're in them because they're fun.
I hear the 30s are better.
Oh, all right.
That's what I'm hearing.
That seems like a little bit of cope, but we'll see. I'm going to be experiencing it in a bit. No, I only got a couple months.
Seems like
December,
a bit of coke.
December, I'll be right there along with you, Gooch. It's funny. I always forget that I'm not technically like the youngest out of your friends group. Like I'm not by much. It's a year.
Yeah,
but it's like I'm the younger guy.
Yeah,
somewhat.
I mean like everyone. Like my friends group is all besides you is all my.
I was gonna
age.
say, just a year older than me. So,
Yeah,
but it is funny. I'll take the extra time. I will.
Yeah.
But Gooch, we're here to talk about Split Fiction.
We are.
What did you think? Let's jump right into it. I want to hear.
Can I throw it to you first?
Yeah, sure,
Can I
absolutely.
deny your
Bounce it
throwing
right
to
back
me?
at me.
I want to throw it at you.
Yeah, absolutely. I really, really enjoyed Split Fiction a lot. I gotta say, I played with my girlfriend.
Nice. I was gonna ask who you played with.
Yeah. Who is, she's slowly becoming a gamer. I gotta say, I feel like I've been kind of molding her a bit, Gooch, if I'm honest. She was having trouble with camera control.
She wasn't born in the game.
She's
molded by them.
But she was doing fantastic. I think one of the most interesting parts about this game is especially jumping from It Takes Two. Did you play It Takes Two?
Yeah, we
I thought
reviewed
so.
it.
Oh, that's right. I
mean,
totally
it's been a
forgot.
while,
Yeah,
but-
it's been forever. And, I enjoyed It Takes Two. I found it a little bit less interesting than this to me. Mm-hmm. But I think Split Fiction does a really good job of just leaning into the super video gaminess of it all. It feels a bit more serious. There's a lot more mechanics. It's definitely harder than Split Fiction. I think there's a bit more of a bar jumping in when it comes to the platforming, when it comes to some of the game mechanics, when it comes to shooting. It's just a bit more involved. Especially if you're going from, I think, Split Fiction, which we did play recently. I think the story is interesting. Mia and Zoe grew on me a lot throughout the story. I felt at the beginning they were kind of annoying, to be honest. There was that, I guess, Marvel-esque dialogue, if you want to use that. Like, what's going on? Oh, my God. And then they
fly now?
They actually did a really good job of growing the characters, I felt, throughout the game, and I actually really did end up caring about both of them by the end, and I felt like their relationship was pretty well built. But yeah, Gooch, I really did enjoy this, and I can't really wait to talk about the end of the game because I think that was my favorite part by far. The final boss. Mm-hmm. But yeah, dude, Hazelight. They kick ass. They know what they're doing. It's a $50 game. They're the only developer out there that's still the only one that I can really think of that still really hardcore focuses on co-op experiences.
Yeah.
And They give you a free copy of the game when you buy it to like give to a friend to play with you.
Yeah.
Super consumer friendly. I cannot give them enough credit. I thoroughly enjoyed this game. I can't wait to hear what you think, though. Gooch.
Yeah,
what do you
you played with Tamiras in person, right?
I did, yep.
On PlayStation.
Absolutely, yeah,
Okay.
PS5.
So, I played with friend of the show, Casey Wallman. I played on Xbox, and we played via the internet. And he played on PlayStation.
Oh, okay.
So we and we had no issues.
Yeah.
So that was cool, and that's how we've been playing. Well, he played A Way Out and It Takes Two with me, but I think he played those on Xbox.
So how does that work screen-wise? Does the screen still stay split?
Yeah.
And like it normally is? Okay, I thought so. All right.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, I was like, how does that work with certain things? Interesting. All right.
So what do I think of Split Fiction?
Yeah, I
Well,
wanna
let
hear
me
it.
start off by saying the thief of joy is comparison.
Sure.
And I feel it's really hard to not compare this to It Takes Two. I
Sure.
didn't have that problem with It Takes Two and A Way Out. They were like very different games. I mean, obviously the co-op core gameplay focus is there, but like they're like two sides of the spectrum.
100%.
I think It Takes Two and Split Fiction are a lot more in line with each other, not tonally, but aesthetically. Like they have.
I would say even mechanically in some
they're
ways.
a little. Is zany the word? Like
Yeah.
Like I know we have a lot of sci-fi levels, but the fantasy lines up more with like It Takes Two's kind of
I would agree.
aesthetic there. So I feel like I'm constantly playing the game and I'm constantly comparing it back to It Takes Two. And I feel like it possibly may have colored my opinion on it, but I didn't love Split Fiction as much as I liked It Takes Two. Narratively, I think the game just doesn't resonate with me as much as It Takes Two did. Mind you, I'm a bit biased, and what I mean by that is I'm a child of divorce. My parents got divorced when I was in high school, so the It Takes Two narrative beat of like, their daughter is getting divorced and they're divorcing couple, like essentially in like a couples therapy in a game it's very interesting. It's very different, and I thought it was like it resonated with me a lot. And this, I feel like it's like, okay, it's kind of like this Abstergo a la Assassin's Creed kind of thing. This company is, inviting writers in, and they're using a machine to, I don't know if it's set up that they're taking ideas, but I guess that's what they're doing. They're like farming ideas from people's minds, and they're buying them essentially.
Well, they're draining all of their ideas. Basically, they're using this machine to drain. It's a what's the word I'm looking for? It's about AI. It's about these AI
so
art things,
and that's what Joseph Ferris was kind of saying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I get it, but like I'm not really sure. Like, okay, I see how you were influenced by that, but I don't really think the narrative is actually about AI. I feel like the I don't really like Raider. He's kind of this like mustache twirling villain.
I agree.
And then he's talking about being a god at the end. I'm like, this writing doesn't make sense. Like I don't think this is.
It's very hyperbolistic and over the top.
I'm like,
he
this
is
is ridiculous.
I literally had the exact same mustache twirling thought. Like he isn't even sort of hiding it either. Like when she's trying to leave at the beginning, she's like, I don't want to do this. She's like, no, you have to stay. Like it's like, all right, relax, man. Like it's okay.
Yeah. And he's like, he's following a fucking Teams call with like these people, and he's like,
this is my machine.
Yeah,
no, it's
and then like again, he calls himself a god in the last level. I was like, let's fucking take a step back.
Right,
Like, this is not that type of story. But I think what would have been more effective with the narrative is like Zoe and Mio, Zoe and Mio, their names, I get them confused.
Yeah.
I think it's because they're similar. They're three letters, and they kind of I don't know. The names are just I keep getting them mixed up.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't.
Like if Raider recognized their ideas as the best and the fact that they were of high quality, so he had to take them, that would be different. But he never really identifies that their fantasy and sci-fi ideas or anything of note.
Because he doesn't care. He just wants to use them. Like he thinks that, I think the whole, at least I took that as he does think these people have great ideas, but he's just going to bring them in, make them sign this contract, and literally drain them of all of them so that he can use them in his new AI story printing machine. You know what I mean? But no, I think, the over the top of him kind of does undersell that. It what's the word? it makes it not work as well for me personally.
Yeah, if you're usually we usually record these podcasts live on twitch.tv/Delco Network, and occasionally we go to our Twitch chat. And Blueberry Bubbly says narrative was the biggest downfall of this game, as somebody who's in publishing/novel writing industry. And I know Jess, friend of the show, thanks for watching,
Absolutely,
and commenting. I know she was saying like she was surprised that there wasn't a lot of like book in jokes in this game, and like considering it's a game about writers,
right?
Like there's no, it doesn't seem like the writers in this game made any sort of references to any writing.
Sure.
Like, and I kind of agree. And I thought like the sci-fi stuff felt very generic. It's like sci-fi war, and like that's it. Like I didn't really feel like attached to any of them.
Sure.
I think some of the side stories are kind of cool, and I like how there's differences in them. Like some of them are just kind of like mini games, like the one where you're flying through, and it's quick, it's easy. Some of them are a little longer, and the fantasy ones, like they really kind of like the pig one, with the hot dog, like that was cool and funny.
Fun, yeah.
But like a different kind of fantasy,
Sure.
And I did like the fantasy worlds. I felt those were really good, but the sci-fi stuff, besides the first one, which again just it felt like generic cyberpunk city.
Sure.
I
I definitely hear what you're saying. I think for me, the whole point of those stories weren't necessarily to get super drawn into them, except for like, I don't know, showing how they relate to the themes of the character, and like how they talk about Mio with her dad and how he's dealing with cancer, and she writes this story and she's like, I don't put any of myself in the story, and then she's going through it and realizing this, I'm actually fully in this story and I don't even realize it. But I think that's a fair point. You'd want to talk about these more writing specific things, especially if you are taking novelists in. But it's funny. I did find the sci-fi worlds to be the most interesting to me personally. Like I had the most fun in those. I'm trying to think of like the glider mission, and when you're going through, you're gliding, you're flying, and then you're diving underneath the water and stuff. Like there was a lot of really interesting moments in that. But I will say the dragon mission for the fantasy was very cool. I liked that a lot.
Yeah,
like
I like the one
your
with
dragons.
the centipedes too. Like
that was really
cool.
That
was my favorite. But I did feel this game was a bit too long. Some of the last two levels where like you're going through everything, and then the machine starts breaking down and you're in Zoe and Mio's like consciousness. Those levels are way too long.
Sure.
It kind of felt like the wrap up was like a bit too long. And it could have gone for shorter. And I think it's probably similar length to It Takes Two, if not a bit longer. I remember It Takes Two also being a bit long in the tooth as well.
I was gonna say we didn't finish It Takes Two because we just got bored with it, and I don't know. It really didn't like resonate for me, and it felt so much longer than this. Like this,
I know we reviewed it. I'm curious if we reviewed it after. It must not have finished it.
No, it was before this. We played this like recently, like Tamira's and I played it within the last year, and we just never got to the end because it was just kind of it felt like a little repetitive, and I don't know. It just didn't hit the same way for us, and it felt longer than Split Fiction. Like I felt like we got through Split Fiction actually in a clip. Like when you told me we were near the end on the dragons, I was like, oh, we are. Like I feel like we almost just kind of started. But I think that can be the enemy of a lot of these games if you do go a little too long.
Not to bring Casey's opinions into this, but
no, put words in his mouth. I want to hear it.
Yeah, he liked it, and he was kind of like even saying to me, and it's like I feel like you're like when you compare it to Split Fiction or It Takes Two, like it kind of takes away a bit. But I think he liked it, and I think he had some kind of similar critiques to me. But ultimately at the end of the day, he enjoyed it. Kind of going back to what I was saying, like It Takes Two is a big game to follow up. It was a game of the year winner. It was on a lot of award lists. Like it was a big deal. So following up a game like that, as we've talked about with God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2, etc. Death Stranding 2 will probably fall into that category, where your sequel is following up on a game that was like very successful. It's so hard to eclipse or go above the bar that's already super high.
Yeah.
And I feel like Split Fiction kind of falls short. I don't think it's going to be a Game of the Year contender. I don't think it's going to be an award winner, because guess what? We kind of already got it. We already got this very similar kind of experience. And I'm pitching that up to say, I think whatever Hazelight is doing next, which they're already working on a new game, I think it can still be the co-op formula, but I think it's got to be a little different here.
Well, I think
they really need to change up the game, maybe not gameplay, but like the narrative style. Maybe they need to hone in on a gameplay genre and just do that instead of like It Takes Two and Split Fiction being like very all sorts of gameplay genres, we're
and I think that's kind of what they're leaning into.
We're doing like the surfboard thing, you're
It's
right.
a lot of games. It's
right.
a lot
But
of different mechanics.
A
and
Way
stuff.
Out is definitely like a walking simulator kind of game.
Oh, for
with
sure.
some,
Much
like,
more third person over the
FPS
shoulder
elements.
Yeah, there's no platforming or anything like there is
But like,
in this.
think I'll throw it over to you right after this. Think about like Space Marine 2.
Yeah.
Like that being a very co-op focused game, but it's a third person shooter.
Yeah, it's a totally different style for sure. And I think they could do something different in the way of, changing up their formula and how they are presenting, and maybe moving back to another third person over the shoulder, like more narrative focus. But I don't know. I think that this does clear It Takes Two for me by like a mile. I just really had a lot of fun with it.
Well, Trio, have you ever thought we have different tastes?
It might be different. And no, and I do, I didn't think about your personal connection with It Takes Two and stuff like that. I can absolutely see how that would make it resonate even more with you.
Don't
for sure.
get me wrong. It's not like I'm fucking.
Oh no,
Like,
but it's just,
dude,
but
it's
no,
deep,
you can have.
I just was like, I actually like.
No, you have a
understand this.
personal connection to it in some way. Whereas like with me, I did feel like I was like by the end, I'm like, all right, we're getting there. This is the end, but. For Zoe and Mia's story, I just felt like there was a real good crescendo by the end, and I felt like there was a satisfying like connection with the two. And even with what's his name going all out and annoying near the end, I just really liked their characters by the end.
Who did you play as?
Oh, I was Zoe.
I was Mia.
Yeah. Okay, that's funny.
Cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Mia. We were talking about her. Like, she was like me and Casey. Casey was like, dude, I can't stand this character, and she's just like a bitch.
Yeah,
and written very.
It's like leave me
miserable.
alone, fuck off.
It's just, and they are kind of cookie
and
cutter.
I think Zoe is written the opposite way,
right,
generically.
very optimistic.
Yeah.
And they both kind of like toward the end, they seem very surface level, and they get them a little bit more 3D and 3-dimensional at the end. Like with Mio and her dad, that influences a lot of writing, but she's also angsty.
Yeah.
And then with Zoe, she lost her twin sister. That informs a lot of her writing, but she's more
when she's young. Yeah.
I think she instead of being like angsty, she's a bit more optimistic on life. But
no,
what did you think of the two?
I thought they were really good. Again, like I said at the beginning, they were annoying the fuck out of me, but they became much more 3-dimensional throughout, and I felt like their writing was pretty well done, and they just grew into something that made sense to me, especially when it comes to Mio and like seeing how she had to deal with her dad, and I think they do a good job of explaining why she's so crotchety and like. I even thought Zoe's reveal of her sister being dead was a good one.
Casey was like, her sister's dead. Her sister's dead.
I totally didn't. I don't know why.
And I'm like,
didn't
you know
think
what,
about
man?
that.
I haven't really thought about it, but you're probably right.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And then when she revealed that, I was like, oh yes,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
And she finds her new sister in Mio and all that stuff. So it's a nice message. I guess Joseph Ferris based these two characters off his daughters.
So
too,
it must
he
be
said.
just based after his daughter. I don't know.
I'm sure
like their tastes.
Of course, yeah. Which I thought was another fun little fact. But yeah, I thought that they were very well written. I just think the worst part of the game for me was the villain, just because he was so hyperbolistic and over the top.
Yeah. Blueberry chimes back in. Jess. Their character arcs were super tropey, which is lazy writing, in my opinion. Dead sisters, ill fathers, almost like cruise control writing. It's easy to care about those things. Good point. I mean, think about. I think you're right, but also this is a pretty short game, so yes, you gotta fucking cast that line, and you gotta reel people.
I also
in. So
don't think
maybe going for the tropes is the way to do it because you don't have enough time to develop your characters that much. Like, there's not much. Like, think about the narrative pushings. Like, there's not a lot of them. Like, you're just going through levels, and exposition is happening naturally per se.
And I guess for me, and not that I think everyone should expect what they expect. I'm not expecting a Last of Us level narrative. I don't know. I think for what this game is and for what they were trying to accomplish,
Brothers is very their first game.
Oh, it was very.
Which is they just re-released it. I'm sorry, I interrupted.
No, you're good. Yeah.
Is heavy. To
very heavily themed. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. It's very sad. I've heard it's made a ton of people cry, but it's I don't think it's co-op. But you play as two brothers, or maybe it's only local. It's a bit different. But anyway.
Yeah. And I guess for me and for what I wanted out of this game and for what I got, I think the story worked for me. Those are a ton of tropes, and those are very fair points, and I can't help but agree. But I guess they work for a reason. Where I'm they hit for me, and it worked, and I felt like their journey together was satisfying for me by the end. But
yeah,
I don't know.
I've been listening to Rick Hogue say this on Last Day of Media's podcast a lot, where he said this a few times, and he actually really likes Split Fiction, but he was saying like video game writing is not the best writing. In talking about like
sure, I think in general,
in books, TV, movies, it's very clear that video game writing is not like above. Maybe novels or anything else.
I think
like
some
there are examples.
I was going to say
sure,
yeah.
But I think if you're speaking generally, a lot of video game writing is very.
I would also say that that's a product of the platform.
Generic.
You know what I mean? Also, and not even like generic. It's like you just have to push the story forward in certain ways sometimes, and you have to focus on the gameplay most of the time, unless you're like a Last of Us or something like that, where your narrative is truly the focus of your game, and that just doesn't happen very often in video games because you want to be able to want to play the game.
I think I could confidently say that narrative is not the focal point of Hazelight games. It's the
I would agree.
co-op
Yeah,
element.
absolutely.
It's the gameplay. I mean, I think they want to have a good story to service the gameplay, but like it's clearly not about the story.
I totally agree.
If it was, it would be single player, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like yeah.
The gameplay is king here for them. They know what they're doing, and I think the gameplay is what sells it for me in this one. Especially more than It Takes Two for me. I don't know why. Like, a lot of the mini games resonated more for me. I love the dragon stuff. I loved a lot of the tech stuff. The gliding
I think
scenes.
the approach to the side stories and mini games in Split Fiction is better presented. I felt like in It Takes Two, the mini games are mini games.
Yeah, they're just in like these little spots, right? That you can mess around.
To play, and like, you know, it kind of feels like this like therapeutical thing almost. So maybe they're like contextually make more sense, and the side stories contextually makes more sense in Split Fiction, but. Yeah, I did kind of like their presentation better here.
I agree.
And I feel like It Takes Two kind of did this, but Split Fiction is full of references to other Hazelight games. You know, the Oscar speech. Did you find that?
No, I don't.
It's in the cyberpunk level in this like bus station thing. It's like playing on a radio, like the moment he comes on. Yeah. So and there are other references within the achievements and things like that.
Right.
And you can find what was the guy's name in It Takes Two? He's in the fantasy level with the cats, with the ghost cats. Do you remember doing that side story?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's in that. But yeah, there's a bunch of references and Easter eggs. The achievements, just because I brought it up, pretty easy. It's a lot of like finding things in the world, or maybe like there are some that are a little difficult. Like remember the bomb mini game with the game show and you're passing the bomb back and forth.
Yeah.
You have to do that without the bomb blowing up. So after me and Casey beat it, we played one more session. We took an hour to like wrap all those achievements up. And you know, there are some, I say challenging ones, some that'll, you know, take you a few minutes to do, but the other ones are like, there's a box. Remember when you're controlling like the gun and somebody's like going through.
Oh yeah.
There's a cardboard box you can get in. If you shoot it off, you get an achievement.
It's
a Metal Gear reference.
Lots of references in this.
There's a Portal reference.
There's an Assassin's Creed reference.
Yeah.
There's a ton. I can't even begin to name them all. Yeah, I enjoyed Split Fiction a lot. I will finish it off, at least for my thoughts here, I think for the most part, with that last episode or last level. I genuinely.
It was impressive technically.
It was wild. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that in a video game.
I think that is what Split Fiction does well.
It's
You're
true.
seeing things you never see before.
So like this, I guess the idea, it's cool because you get dropped in the last level and you think you're in separate fantasy and science fiction worlds. And you're like, oh, we got to work our way back to each other. This is different. And then you finally come together and you realize, oh, you're both in the same map, but it's skinned differently. Like one, Zoe has the fantasy skin. Mio has the sci-fi skin. And I was like, this is
the
fucking
opposite. Don't the opposite characters have the
maybe, yeah. Either way, they're both in the respective worlds. And then you get to each other and you realize, oh, we're looking at the same world, but mine's fantasy and hers was sci-fi. So you have to do different things in your world that affects each other and allows you to progress forward. And I just thought that was wild. And then once the screen starts splitting and you can literally
how you do that.
Like you're literally crossing between the two worlds just like through the split screen of your screen. It's so hard to even describe. Like it was fucking wild. Yeah. I genuinely was blown away by the end. And I remember my girlfriend even asked, he's like, what's up? I'm like, that was just cool. Like I just have never seen anything do that in a game, especially with co-op. I don't know how technically to begin to even think about how that works. It was wild. It was cool. I thought the final boss battle was interesting and kept me engaged most of the time. it was awesome. I really thought it was a big bang to finish it on. And I think that really did sell me even more on this game. Maybe I'd be a little bit lower on it, but that really did I thought it was crazy.
There were 2 points that you just said, and I lost the one.
I'm sorry.
And I lost the second one.
Like the crossing the screen.
The bosses.
Yeah.
I think the bosses were pretty fine.
Yeah, I agree.
Kind of like stereotypical, 3 hits kind of thing. But a lot of them are like the one with Mio in her consciousness one. That one was pretty difficult.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I do think the difficulty spike from this to or from It Takes Two
you
to
can
this
skip things.
It's crazy.
I
didn't realize
accessibility features where you can skip a lot.
Oh, well, that makes sense.
You can skip checkpoints. So we were in the bike section in the Cyberpunk one. You get an achievement if you go through the whole terms and service on your phone.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you can stop that explosion from happening.
That's funny.
And we were using that function to skip to the part. And so if you're having trouble, you can just skip past.
That's cool.
Which, to your point, I think is necessary because a lot of non-gamers are going to be playing this game. And
absolutely,
and
it's supposed to be as accessible as possible.
Cater them, and it kind of reminds me of Death Stranding. In a slight way, they have I think it's
skip boss feature or something? I know that's coming in DS2, but...
Is it?
Yeah, there was something about it, you can skip bosses.
Well, in the beginning of the game, when you pick difficulty, there's a cinematic experience.
Oh.
So I guess it just makes the game easier, so when someone can experience it from a cinematic
just a story level.
Because I guess he knows, people who aren't gamers are probably going to be picking this up, and I think that is an audience to cater to.
I agree.
But then it comes into are we making games easier with accessibility features? Well, they're not there to make games easier for you.
Yeah, they're there to make games easier for the people who need it. And that's a whole nother conversation.
But yeah, I can only echo your point on the ending. It was technically impressive, and I know Game Awards doesn't have a game what if there was technical achievement?
Yeah,
I think Split Fiction would be there because you've never seen that in a game before, and you probably will never see it again.
The only thing sort of comparable to the first part, when you're both in your fantasy and sci-fi worlds and they're different skins, I can think of is Master Chief or the first Halo remaster where you could switch back and forth between two visual styles, but it's still not even it's not even close. That's the only thing I can even think of that sort of compares. It's crazy shit, and I can't wait to see what they do next.
What do you want to see from them?
I mean,
I gave my opinion. So.
I think, obviously more co-op. I do love that they focus on that. I think that they found their niche. Obviously, they're not gonna, I think, fold out of that. I don't know. I really don't. Maybe I would like to see them go back to more of a third-person, more cinematic style for the next game, lean away from the platforming elements. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think they're gonna keep going with this train of kind of different play styles within one game and different mechanics. Yeah, so I don't know. I really can't. I don't know if I have a good answer for you on that, Gooch, unfortunately. I just hope that whatever they make next is as interesting as this to me.
I think the only problem with this game, and this is not my problem, but if you don't have somebody to play with, you're a bit fucked.
Oh, for sure.
I'm curious if they would be interested to make some sort of LFG system, not maybe a game finder for people. I feel they have to support people who don't have friends or people who are gamers.
Just don't have gamer friends. Yeah.
Because sure, you can give a copy to someone, but what if you don't have that person?
No, it's true.
I was listening on Sacred Symbols and they were talking. It's I want to play it Split Fiction, but I don't really have anybody to play it with.
Yeah.
So I would say it would probably be interesting for them to again push the envelope a little bit and make a system within the game that can connect players to play with. Maybe that be part of the narrative in some way.
Well, and didn't they have some type of I know when they were doing the marketing for this, there was a joke commercial. It was the friend edition, and it comes with a friend to play with in the commercial, with the game. And I don't know, they did have something I think in that commercial where they're you need someone to play Split Fiction with? Go to this website. I think they actually might have some type of apparatus set up for that already for people to find friends.
Yeah.
I might be making that up in my head, but I remember that commercial for sure. So yeah, I think that's a good idea though, especially with a game like this, with a co-op game. You need them.
Yeah, but that's it for me. I like the game. Comparing it to It Takes Two, I don't like it as much, but I still think it's a good romp. It's a good fun. I don't know if I'll ever get around to playing these with Kathy. I know she was watching, I think Jacksepticeye play this. So I know she was like watching it. So I'm not sure her interest level on actually
playing it.
But I would like to go back to A Way Out and It Takes Two and play them again because I only played them all once.
Yeah.
And I played It Takes Two like round when it came out. Any PS5 Pro enhancements?
It was PS5 Pro enhanced. I don't know what they were.
Okay.
To be honest, I think it was just extra frame rates.
It
and
ran
stuff.
pretty well.
It ran great for me
on Xbox, and I had it on performance.
I will say I love the art style in the way of like it's realistic, but not like so realistic that it will age badly. Like everyone, I think looks great. Like it's a little.
It's not hyper real.
No, it's not
like
hyper.
Death Stranding or
no, not at all like that. But I think it's real enough to where it looks good, but it won't age badly.
Last thing, the very end. I like how it ends with Zoe and Mio writing Split Fiction.
Yeah, I did too.
Very cheesy.
Yeah,
but I really enjoyed.
Again, another trope, and I'll tell you for sure. But I don't know, it works for me.
That's kind of like not like Princess Bride, but like. I feel like that's been done before where like the title of the movie,
isn't in Lord of the Rings he writes The Hobbit or something?
Yeah,
something like that. Yeah,
exactly.
So
exactly.
No, that's definitely a trope for sure. But Gooch, I think that does it for us.
That does do it for us.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all for being with us live here on the stream. We always appreciate you watching live with us at twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network on your service of choice. We have a Facebook page, a Discord channel. All that good stuff will be linked down below. We're on all the social medias as well, at Delco Nerds on everything with an @ You can find all this information on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. You can even email us your comments, questions, or concerns to delconerds@gmail.com. We're happy to get back to you. For Gooch, though, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.
Right.